Hello everybody, this is Mr. Rob, and welcome back to episode number 25 of the Houston Astros franchise here on MLB The Show 20. We've hit the quarter century mark in terms of episodes, and we've hit about the halfway point in the MLB season. Today is the June recap, and we'll have a live commentary to go through the team, how they're performing, what we usually do, the usual stuff. So go ahead and like and subscribe down below, that always helps me out, and especially if you want more Astros content. So we've officially crossed the halfway point. Our Astros are small. It depends if you are our Astros. Depends on how you feel about Astros. But Astros sit at 44 and 42. They have officially finally gone over 500 for the first time since April. And something that should have happened a long time ago is Fortnite installs. Perfect. Didn't even know. And take back a look at the month of June. They did a little better. They went 14 and 10 in the month of June. They went 16 and 13 in May. So a little bit of an increase. One more game above 500 in that regard. So that's good. Our AAA team went 9 and 18. Both of our minor league teams continue to struggle. May they went 12 and 18, so worse than they did the previous month, which is not good. The Round Rock Express 29 and 51. At the end of the day, I guess it's not the end of the world because it is the minor league team. As long as the players are getting better, that's all that matters. And then in AA, our Corpus Christi Hooks have definitely fallen off as they went 9 and 17 in the month of June. April they lost 5 games in total. And then May, they went 6 and 24. And then now they're sitting at 9 and 17. They've crossed the halfway point in their season. They're 2 and 6 in the second half. So both of our minor league clubs are struggling as well. Before I forget, since it is the end of the month, let me show the players of the month. I always seem to forget this one. But in the American League in June, pitcher of the month, James Paxton, .73 ERA. That's pretty dominant. Player of the month is Gary Sanchez, 361, 12 homers. So I can't wait to see what the Yankees look like in the standings, since there they have both pitcher and player of the month. And then rookie of the month, Adley Rutschman. We saw him in the Orioles episode where we played the Orioles. He hit 311, 3 homers, 6 RBIs, 70 overall, 8 potential. So it looks like the Orioles have their catcher of the future. In the National League, pitcher of the month, Max Scherzer, 209 ERA, 56 strikeouts, doing what Max Scherzer does. Player of the month, Trevor Story, hit 355, 6 homers, 24 RBIs for the Rockies. And Tyler Nevin was the rookie of the month, also for the Rockies. 333 average, 2 homers, 3 RBIs through 30 at-bats. He has a 65 overall deep potential, so hopefully that'll increase the potential. The Rockies would like to see that as well. So now let's jump into the standings part of the episode, starting with the AL East. The Yankees, yes, they do now lead the AL East, going 60 and 27 record. Red Sox, though, 5 games back. We've seen the Red Sox make a lot of moves trying to get up a spot, picking up Jonathan VR and stuff like that. So the Red Sox trying to gun for that first place spot. AL Central, the White Sox lead the way 51 and 37. Twins are 3 games back of them. AL West, sorry about my phone dinging if you can hear that. Athletics, 51 and 37 lead our division. Angels 5.5, so the Angels really starting to fall off. They're kind of gone cold recently. Rangers 6, and we are also 6 games back, and we've won 6 straight. So trying to get back in the division race. In the wild card, it is 2 AL East teams, Red Sox, Rays, followed by Twins, who are only a half game back. Angels, Rangers, and the Astros sit 3.5 back. In the NL East, the defending World Series champion Nationals sit at 49 and 39. Mets are 2.5 back. In the Central, Brewers got that one down pat, 52 and 34. And in the NL West, it is the Dodgers world, the best team in baseball, 64 and 24, 727 win percentage. They've got the division on lock at 15.5 games. In the wild card, the Diamondbacks are the top team, which says a lot about the Dodgers. The Dodgers are winning their division by over 15 games. And the NL West also has the top wild card spot, so that's pretty dominant. And the Reds, don't sleep on the Reds. They're the second team in the wild card race. The Cardinals, Mets trailing close behind. And then we'll go into the main part of the episode. We look at our player stats, see how our players are doing this month, see how they're doing in the season in total. Starting with our position players. Looks like our best position player, George Springer. He's hitting .263 on the season, 20 homers, 62 RBIs. He's been one of our most clutch bats. You saw him had 2 home runs against the Indians in the episode we watched. He will be a free agent this offseason, unfortunately. He's doing a little worse than last year. I'd like to see the average go up more. He is kind of in a cold slump. He was hitting 330 earlier in the season, so his average has almost dropped a whole 0.7 points. But it's still one of our best bats. And then probably our best bat overall, Yordan Alvarez, up next. He's hitting 271 with 22 dingers, which does lead the team. 64 RBIs. So he's been, by far and away, it seems like our best bat. Always coming through in the clutch, hitting those big time hits and scoring runs. So Yordan Alvarez, I'm pretty sure he leads the team in RBIs as well. Yeah, him and Springer at the top. So Yordan and Springer have been our two best bats. Then we have Alex Solo Shot Bregman, who I've dubbed as Solo Shot because every single one of his homers seems like it's been a solo shot. He's hit 17 bombs, only 40 RBIs, hitting 253 on the season. I expect his average to increase. Alex Bregman is one of the best hitters in baseball. He's sitting at a 97 overall. So I expect him, look at his stats, especially his contact stats, that discipline stats. He's still increasing too. So one of the best hitters in baseball. I expect his average to jump up to about what it's been the past couple seasons, that high 280s, high 290s range. Carlos Correa up next, 272 average for him, 12 homers, 37 RBIs. He's been stellar. Carlos Correa's been really solid. Once again, I like to see the average go up a little bit, but our team is kind of underperforming as a whole in that average department. So can't really blame him too much in particular. Do also have him, thankfully, for another year of arbitration because he's also going to be a big free agent in the future. Jose Altuve up next, hitting 252, 8 homers, 27 dingers. I definitely expect that average to be a lot higher than 252. He's probably one of our most well-rounded players. He's only drawn 30 walks. That's also kind of surprising. I expect his walks to be a little higher, especially his short stature at 5'6", excuse me. And, hitting way lower in the past couple years. I expect him to also increase. There's a lot of players on this team I wish would do a little better, and hopefully we can see that in the second half of the season. Michael Brantley up next. He's one of those ones who's definitely picked it up because he was sitting in the 210s, 220s range. He's now hitting 269 with 5 homers and 21 dingers. So that's good for him because he is on a contract year. And the next player I'm going to look at, Kyle Tucker, as could be pegged to replace Michael Brantley. He's picked it up as well. He was hitting in the 100s, now hitting 240 and 100 at bats, 2 homers, 18 RBIs. He might get more playing time as the season goes on. He's a 71A potential, so he is our left fielder of the future. Probably one of the only young players we have currently who is ready for the big league level, and he could take over as that left field position in the future. Josh Reddick up next, hitting 250 on the year, 8 homers, 30 RBIs. That's better because, last episode his average was in the 230s, 240s, so he's really picked it up in that Indian series. He must have happened. He's had a couple clutch shots, but he is a free agent after this offseason. Don't know what his future holds. He is regression, I guess is the appropriate term. Martin Maldonado, I called him one of the biggest surprises of the season early on in the season, and now he's been one of the most disappointing players of June. His average has plummeted to 229, 7 homers, 20 RBIs, still a solid catcher. We don't really have a catcher. Well, actually, we have one catcher, in Corey Lee, but Maldonado, I thought he might stick around another year. We're still not sure. Still got a whole other season, but Maldonado has been one of the biggest disappointments of June. Yuli Gurriel hitting 240, 6 homers, 22 RBIs. I like Yuli a lot. He's got really good contact versus righties and good vision and good clutch. But he is older at 35 years, signed very late out of Cuba. So he might be regressing really fast. Look at that, 6'5", 5'9". He is definitely taking a toll at 35 years of age. So, he's making $9.5. It says he expects $1 million. So hopefully this offseason, when he hits arbitration, we can get him for a little less than $9.5. Garrett Stubbs started getting to the bench players. He's hitting 208. A lot of our bench players have struggled so far this season. Garrett Stubbs has been getting more at-bats against righty hitters, especially since Maldonado's struggling. And his average has increased. He's gotten it out of the ones, thankfully. So Garrett Stubbs, okay. Lesman Diaz, 168. Kind of sucked, but he's really the only utility infielder we have in the middle of the field. so kind of got to stick around. And then Abraham Toro, a guy we called up to be a corner infielder, really struggled as well. A lot of our bench players are struggling, and we really don't have bench players to call up, so kind of just got to make do with what we got, unfortunately. And we're really tight with our budget, so it's not like we can kind of go out and sign a big name player, so that's kind of been unfortunate for us. We're kind of in a pickle in that regards. But pitching wise, we're going to do it by ERA. Joe Smith tops the board. I mean, he's only pitched 8 1/3 innings so far this season. Hopefully he can get some more innings pitched because he's a good player. I mean, he's a 77, 73 overall type player. Is regressing though at 36 years of age, but I'd like to see him get more innings, give the other guys a rest. But he's set up in that setup man, and our other setup man, who we'll get to in a second, has been just dominant. Justin Verlander doing Justin Verlander things. Gosh, I hope he doesn't retire this offseason. 2.22 ERA, 136 strikeouts. He is 37, but he's on a big-time contract for the next year. So I don't think he'll retire this offseason, but you never know. He's been lights out for us. And then our biggest surprise, now that Maldonado sucks, this guy is our other biggest surprise. Jose Urquidy, at least I hope I'm pronouncing his last name right the whole series. Jose Urquidy, 233. The strikeout numbers aren't popping off the radar, which is why he's not, high in the All-Star voting and stuff like that. But I mean, he has been lights out in the second half of the rotation, the bottom of the rotation, and he has been increasing because of that. I mean, a 233 average. I mean, I've loved pitching with it. Every single time we pitched them, I've loved it. So, very surprised with him. He was our other setup man, Ryan Presley. Reason why Joe Smith doesn't get as much innings is because Ryan Presley has been pretty dominant in the setup position. I mean, he's got phenomenal ratings. Look at that control, velocity, and break. I mean, all high. Just got good stuff. Especially when I'm playing a game, if I'm in the setup inning, I know I can go to Ryan Presley to get that 8th inning done. So, why mix that up? He's always been pretty solid for us. Roberto Osuna, our closer, 2.63 ERA. He's got 21 saves. Did a lot better in June. He did give us a couple of earned runs, but it's 21 saves and how many chances? Let's see how many blown saves he has. He has 23. So 21-24, so he did blow a save in the month of June, which he is supposed to be a dominant closer, and his ERA matches last year, so I think he's doing his job pretty well. Rogelio Armentero is the third starting pitcher guy. He moved up into the 5th spot because we did release Homer Bailey. Not entirely sure if I showed that in an episode, but we did have to cut Homer Bailey. That was a trade that did not pan out before the season starts. He was struggling, and we wanted to cut a little bit of salary, so Homer Bailey was released. But Rogelio Armentero has stepped up into that 5th spot, and he's done a pretty solid job as a back end of the rotation kind of guy. 273 earned run, only started 4 games, so still a small sample size for him, but I've liked what he's done in the 5th spot. Jose Urania, we picked him up this month in a trade with the Marlins, gave them a prospect, Gray Kessinger, and he's done pretty well. He hasn't pitched that much since coming over. He is relatively fresh in the organization, but we like him. I do need to change his glove away from the Marlins colors, so I'm going to do that right after this ends so I don't forget. Austin Pruitt, another guy in the rotation. You've had that revolving door spot in the rotation between Joe Biagini, Justin Farrell, and now Austin Pruitt. And Austin Pruitt seems like he's been the best of that bunch, so he'll probably hold on to his spot. Zach Greinke, we saw him get rocked against the Rangers, 3.71 ERA. He's done a solid job overall this season. Can't really complain with him. Another guy I hope doesn't retire. He is 36, and you never know, but I think he's also on a big contract for next year. So, yeah, that's something to watch out for as well. Lance McCullers, 387, didn't have the best June. We saw him get rocked a couple times. Still a solid number 3 man in the in the rotation, however. So, I'm glad we have him around. Brad Peacock, he's been our go-to middle reliever. He's got a 4.37 ERA, so not really good for our go-to guy. But those middle innings pitchers is probably where we struggle with. So that's also another target for us. Want to improve the pen a little bit. But overall, he's been okay. Framber Valdez, we haven't had him highlighted a lot. He's a long relief guy, 5.35 ERA. Hasn't really done a good job, however. But he's one of our few lefties in the pen. So kind of keeping him around. He's a high overall. Don't really have many guys in the minors to replace him, though. So, He's stucking around, and then the highest ERA on the team is Chris Davinsky. His ERA has skyrocketed, but it's plummeted back down to a 5.72. It was in the 7s. So he's starting to reel it in a little bit. I have faith that he'll turn it around. So that's all the player stat stuff for us. Take a look at the league leaders real quick. All the big-time stats in AL. Mike Trout and Yoan Moncada lead the way with 340 averages. Let's go to home runs. Franmil Reyes off the Indians. We saw him hit a dinger off of us. He has 26. Yordan Alvarez tied for 5th with 22. RBIs, Mike Trout, 75. Alvarez also high up there, tied for 4th. Stolen bases, Danny Santana of the Rangers, which is kind of surprising. He has 59 speed and 48 stealing, but he's able to swipe bags, so good for him. Walks, Alex Bregman leads the way in walks, so he is getting on base, even though his average isn't as high as it usually is. At least he's still finding ways on base. Let's see, wins, Garrett Cole of the Yankees, the former Astro. Would love to have him in the rotation, but nonetheless leads the way. Losses, Gio Gonzalez and Chris Sale. Lucas Giolito used to be the leader with 0, but it looks like he's lost a couple games. And then saves, Oliver Drake, who is actually still on the trade block of the Rays, has 30 saves, so another guy to keep an eye out for. James Paxton with his amazing June now leads the ERA lead with 2.08, and that's most of the pitching. Chris Sale has the most strikeouts at 163. And then we're going to go to the National League. Batting average, Paul Goldschmidt of the Cardinals, 348, highest in baseball. Home runs, Josh Bell of the Pirates has 25. Don't know what's going to happen with him. He is a guy who's been in and out of the trade block. Probably the biggest name to watch out for, especially as we get to July. See what happens with the Pirates, see what happens with him, because the Pirates aren't doing that good this season. So Josh Bell is a player to look out for on the move. Stolen bases, Billy Hamilton, not really surprising to see him at the top with 27. Walks, Juan Soto, 66 walks. That's a lot of walks. So the young star of the Nationals finding a way on base in more ways than one. On base percentage, Paul Goldschmidt almost on base half of the time with 45%. Oh, wow. And then wins, Clayton Kershaw has 12 of the Dodgers. They're just picking up wins left and right. And then saves, Seth Lugo and Mike Morin of the Mets and the Brewers lead the way in that category. ERA, Clayton Kershaw, just a dominant pitcher. What else is there to say about him? And then strikeouts, Max Scherzer and Steven Strasburg. So that dominant 1-2 punch in Washington is leading the way in that department. So I think that's almost about it. I think the last thing we'll look at, we're going to look at the All-Star voting. It is about getting to the All-Star break, so I thought we'd take a look at them. Kind of look at who's topping the board, see if any Astros are close. Starting pitcher in the American League, Chris Sale has the most votes, and Lucas Giolito is second. Justin Verlander is fourth, so that might be one All-Star. Relief pitcher Ryan Brazier of the Red Sox has a 1.66 ERA. Closers, Taylor Rogers of the Twins leads the way with his 2.03 ERA and 28 strikeouts. I don't know why saves isn't at the top of that category. Catcher Christian Vasquez of the Red Sox, he's hitting 302 this year with 13 bombs. First baseman Jose Abreu hitting 316, 17, and 56. Second base Joey Wendell hitting 296 with 10 dingers of the Rays. And third base, Alex Bregman leads the way of third base hitters with his 17 home runs, basically being the anchor as to why he's so high, because his average is lower than the rest. Shortstop Elvis Andrus of the Rangers, who we saw last episode, with 15 homers, 15 stolen bases, and 310 average. Carlos Correa a little lower than I would expected, but there are a lot of good hitters at the shortstop position. Left field, JD Martinez of the Red Sox with his 24 dingers. Yordan Alvarez sits fourth. And then in center field, Mike Trout. What else do you expect? Right field, Hunter Dozier of the Royals with his 21 dingers and 328 average has been a bright spot for Kansas City. So now in the National League, Clayton Kershaw leads the way. He's injured though, so Max Scherzer will be the next highest. And relief pitcher Brent Sutter of the Brewers having a good season. Closing pitcher Giovanni Gallegos of the Cardinals, followed by Hector Neris of the Phillies. Catcher Kirk Suzuki of the Nationals having a pretty solid season in his own right, followed by Stephen Vogt, so two veterans leading the way in the National League. Paul Goldschmidt, first base. We saw how much he's killing the league. Freddie Freeman's doing a good job as well. Second baseman Ozzie Albies of the Braves, the young superstar, starting to tap into his potential. 311 average, 20 homers. That's good power numbers for him. I didn't think he'd have that many at this point. Third baseman Justin Turner of the Dodgers, so Dodgers sprinkled everywhere. And then Trevor Story, the June Player of the Month, leads the way at the shortstop position, hitting .299 with his 15 homers. Left field Juan Soto. Nationals have a big guy they can build around. Cody Bellinger, another Dodger, leading the way at the center position. And then right field, another Dodger, the new Dodger, Mookie Betts, followed by Christian Yelich, Justin Blackmon, and Bryce Harper. So that's going to do it, I think, for this episode. That's all the things I really wanted to highlight. We have a series and a World Series rematch up next. So that's going to be a fun one to watch, as well as a series against the Phillies. And so we get closer and closer to the All-Star break. So a little bit of interleague play in the next episode. So if you guys are hyped for that, make sure you leave a like and subscribe down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is Mr. Rob, and I'm saying class is dismissed.